I am in the Republic of Ireland, here in County Clare, specifically at the beautiful Cliffs of Moher, right here on the Atlantic Ocean. They are a breathtaking coastline right here. We are not here, unfortunately, for Ireland's beautiful coastline. We are here yet again for the national sandwich, the Mr. Tato Crisp Sandwich. A brief history of the Tato Crisp Sandwich. So, first of all, Ireland has a rich sandwich culture with lots of options like the famous chicken fillet roll, the Irish breakfast roll, or Mrs. Doyle's egg sandwiches. All great sandwiches, and I've even made a video about them, with the exception of the egg sandwiches because I do genuinely agree with Father Ted. Today, we focus on Ireland's most iconic sandwich, the Mr. Tato Crisp Sandwich. Crisp being the preferred word for potato chips here in these aisles, even if it's wrong. Nevertheless, potatoes are genuinely ranked as one of the most iconic, if not stereotypical things in Ireland, along with Guinness, Shamrocks, hating the English, and watching County Mayo lose every year. However, just like St. Patrick, the potato was brought to Ireland from abroad. The year was 1589, and Sir Walter Raleigh came back from a voyage from the Americas with the potato, taken from its native Peru and introduced to Ireland. The great thing about the potato is that it can grow pretty much anywhere, even in bad soil or terrible weather, which is great for Ireland because it has both. The only parts of Ireland with nice soil were taken up by English Protestants and Scottish settlers during the colonial plantations in the north, so the rest of the island was stuck with the potato and it became a staple food. This system worked for the next 300 years if you ignore the constant Irish uprisings against British rule. Well, until 1845, when Ireland was struck by the Great Famine. A blight had struck the potato crop, making it significantly smaller, leading to the deaths of over 1 million people from starvation and the mass immigration of over 1 million more to places like the United States, just like my friend Steven's family.
I'm Steven. I'm Alex, token Irish friend, and I do not endorse the Irish potato famine. Margaret Thatcher. Piss on her grave every year.
Now, for the people that stayed behind, the famine was made actively worse by British government intervention, including famine work projects, taking sources of food back to England and their colonies, and of course putting a man in charge who thought it was a good idea to let laissez-faire economics play out and starve the Irish to make them less lazy. But I digress. The potato famine was just another massive tragedy the Irish faced under English rule, and something Ireland still has not recovered from. But the Irish rallied together, pushed through, and took the potato along with them. From the late 1800s, Ireland began to see reforms from the English, as well as products being brought to Ireland from England's Industrial Revolution. The two important ones for us are sliced sandwich bread and mass-produced butter. Now, of course, people have been eating bread and butter since ancient times in Ireland, but this new industrial bread and butter were consistent and very useful for working class people. Even with these new products and the prospect of home rule just on the horizon, some Irish called for a true fight for freedom, for independence from the crown. And so, in 1916, when the English were busy fighting Germany in the First World War, Ireland began the Easter Rising, a week-long revolt mainly centered in Dublin that would ultimately fail. But its leaders quickly became martyrs for Ireland, and inspired by the cause, the Irish fought a war against the British in 1919 for independence, and in 1921, the Irish Free State was formed, bringing self-rule to most of the island, even if it was still in the Commonwealth. After a civil war in 1922 and breaking away officially from the crown in 1949, most of Ireland was now an independent republic, with their fancy industrial white bread and butter now made in Ireland. However, one important food was still being imported from England: the potato chip, or crisp. You might be thinking, after 400 years of fighting the British and the Irish are still eating British-made potato chips? When Ireland is the one famous across the world for potatoes? Well, that's the same thing Joe Murphy thought, which led him to found Mr. Tato in 1954, the original Irish crisp, as seen on every package of Mr. Tato's, except in the north. His first and still most popular flavor is cheese and onion, and it was a hit. The popularity of the crisp spread all over Ireland's 32 counties, and mostly with children, thanks to the titular mascot, Mr. Tato, an Irish icon who ran for office in 2007, published an autobiography, The Man Inside the Jacket, and even had his own theme park. Long story short, Mr. Tato crisps are overwhelmingly popular in Ireland, eaten by many students in their lunches as a main dish. Finally, we reach Ireland's national sandwich, the Mr. Tato crisp sandwich, which, as many Irish schoolchildren eat in their lunch, is just a piece of white bread covered in butter for lubricant, and then topped with a pack of cheese and onion Mr. Tatos before being crushed by another piece of bread. A carb-filled sandwich enjoyed from Cork to Donegal, from the cliffs of Connaught to the shores of Leicester, and of course, here in Dublin, Baile Átha Cliath, on the beautiful O'Connell Street. Behind me, you'll see the Spire and the GPO. We are not here for some classic Irish historical sites. We are, of course, here in the capital, despite what the Langers will tell you, to get the sandwich. Let's go get some ingredients just down the road. So I have made it to my Dublin apartment here. You can see, very proud of the Republic. And here, with the Republic's sandwich, the Mr. Tato crisp sandwich. Now, I made this myself. I went to Centra, and I went to Lidl, and I picked up the ingredients. Of course, we're starting off with the classic Irish white bread, super squishy, and then covered that in the world-famous Kerrygold Irish butter. And then finally, I took a packet of Mr. Tato's, the original Irish crisp, dumped about 3/4 of it on the bread, and then I did my patented Irish smush, squeezing it all together into what you'll see here on this plate. There's some potatoes falling out. You save them for later. I did a little cross section for you, just so you can see the kind of texture we're dealing with. Look at that. Look at that's it's something. You know, you might think, Alec, why don't you just have a sandwich and eat potato chips next to it? To which I say, that's ridiculous. We're here in Ireland, okay? And this is the true Irish classic. So let's see how it is. Apologies, the microphone's right here. It might get loud. Mm-hmm. Wow, we're doing a lot here. Lots going on. Firstly, butter, important. Unsalted butter. I got unsalted butter. You just want the butter to be creamy. You need moisture in the sandwich, because the Lord knows it's dry. But the salt, of course, comes from the Mr. Tato's. And they punch. That cheese and onion flavor is kicking strong despite all the extra carbs. And the butter sails through it a nice, it is the conductor between the brass and the strings. The conductor is the butter connecting the bread and the chips to just a beautiful medley of flavors. It is surprisingly good. And the big thing here is the texture. You'd be surprised at how well the potato chips work so well with this, like my thumb leaves prints in this bread. And then the crispiness and crunchiness of the chip works so well. It's immaculate. I'm astounded at how good this is. Is it amazing? No. Is it the best sandwich I've ever had? Not by far, but it's pretty good for what you'd expect a potato chip sandwich, crisp sandwich would taste like. I like Mr. Tato. Of course, cheese and onion is not the only flavor you can use. Mr. Tato has a lot of flavors. Personally, I think their bacon flavor would be good in this. Or my personal favorite, the prawn cocktail. Fantastic Mr. Tato flavor. Could have to try that in a prawn cocktail Mr. Tato buddy. But of course, cheese and onion, the first, the classic, the most popular, and pretty good on a sandwich. I will say, it's crunchy, it's creamy, it's everything you want in a decent, super cheap sandwich. I mean, Mr. Tato, you can get a giant pack of them for like €5 at Lidl. It's a working man's sandwich. It really makes you feel, every bite you take makes you feel like you're in Ireland. This is Ireland's proudest sandwich. You know, everything comes together. Is it pale? Is it chunky? Is it a little bit over exaggerated? Yes, but it accentuates the Irish spirit. Look at that. Fantastic. It's as Irish as Michael D. Higgins. Well, there you have it. That was the sandwich. And your first question might be, Alec, is that the national sandwich of all of Ireland? And I would say, yes, it is. I'm, of course, up here in the very north of Ireland, up in Ulster, or Northern Ireland, depending on who you ask, at the world-famous Giant's Causeway. And even up here in the north, you can still find Tato's. Now, they admittedly have a little more of a Unionist and Ulster theme to them. But nevertheless, you can still put these in a sandwich and enjoy them just the same, no matter what side you are on. And of course, there's so much to do here in Ireland. Look at the natural beauty. It is stunning, and we're going to check some of it out, along with a lot more Irish things.
Like having a cup of good berries tea, and never lions, because I actually have taste buds. But the Irish do love a good cup of Irish tea, and they in fact drink the second most tea in the world right after the Turkish. It is a true Irish tradition, just like kissing rocks. Talking about St. Patrick. Looking at castle ruins. Or cashel ruins. Eating at Supermac. Looking at cows in a beautiful Irish field. Going to Barack Obama Plaza. Or getting a spice bag on a Saturday night.
And of course, Irish pubs. Maybe the most famous thing in Ireland, you can have a pint with your lads. Sláinte.
Or maybe try some of Ireland's favorite whiskey and pretend to like whiskey. Have the crack. Watch the football. Or the hurling. Listen to live music. Have another pint and try to split the G, and when you fail, take the piss.
You know, I'm actually Irish on my mother's side.
Get pissed. Then have a piss, and that's how you have a nice time in a pub.
Well, there you have it, Ireland, the Emerald Isle, full of such amazing things to do, some great pints, and of course a wonderful and welcoming and delightful culture to truly experience firsthand. We are, of course, here in Cork City, in County Cork, home of famous Irish Republican hero Michael Collins. Now, Michael Collins, of course, was a hero of the Republic and fought in both the Independence War and the Civil War. But to me, my personal favorite Irish hero, above all the great lists of Irishmen, is Mr. Tato. And of course, his greatest accomplishment to Irish culture, the Mr. Tato crisp sandwich. Up the bows.
We're on the one road, and maybe the wrong road, away together.